I feel like Shinra is the kind of guy who would eat, like, poison and say it was good if she cooked it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's the energy I've also picked up on.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are back with another episode of Durarara. First off, thank you once again to Master Detective for... It's funny saying the name, Thank you once again, Master Detective. I feel like I'm on, Where in the World's Carmen Sandiego. You know? Thanks,
It's Tibet.
sleuths!
The answer's Tibet.
Well, no, if you recall, you have to answer 10 questions about locations on a very specific map, and you have 60 seconds to put the things down in every capital. Anyway, yeah, thank you again, Master Detective, for once again sponsoring another episode of Durarara, so that we can blow our minds on whatever the fucking mystery is that's happening in the show. I have no comments right now. There was a couple of comments, and I'm sorry if I didn't write your name down, but I did read them all, specifically about time travel, because I think maybe you had a time travel theory, or we were just talking about time travel last time.
Yes.
And they were talking about the problem with time travel is that everything is moving, and I'm pretty sure that we may have mentioned that too. That if you went back in time 5 seconds, the Earth is moving around the solar system at incredible speed. The solar system is moving around the galaxy at incredible speed. The galaxy is moving through the universe at incredible speed. You would not be where you're sitting at 5 seconds ago.
That's fun.
Well, I mean, if you're good with time travel shit or physics, you would know that. If you time traveled, even if for a second, you might find yourself in outer space or in the center of the Earth, you know? It's like that universe sim game, right? Where you can just mess with the orbit of a planet. Anyway, how about you
Hell
go ahead
yeah.
and remind us of what happened last time?
All right. This is not me reminding because I do not remember.
That was a month ago.
Exactly. I'll be reminded once we see it. But, however, I know we have the Doulahan.
Remember, it was Badass Dude was the name of last episode, if that helps you at all.
No. I legitimately do not remember last episode.
No, it was the backstory of the guy who's throwing around vending machines.
Oh, yeah. Because didn't his brother give him the bartender outfit or something like that?
He gave him a couple of boxes of bartender outfits.
Yeah.
And his brother turns out to be like a Hollywood actor.
Because they also showed the relationship. Showed that the relationship's a little more personal between him and the Doulahan as well.
Maybe. Not really. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
He spends a lot of time with Shinra, or Shinra spends a lot of time with him, and obviously Celti, I think her name is.
Yes.
You know what? Here, I'm going to bring up the board. I obviously have the board sitting on the side. Might as well do it now. Yeah, Celti. Celti obviously spends a lot of time with Shinra after a certain point. Obviously, Shinra has to be introduced. So yeah, we see Celti in the area, but not really doing a lot with Shizo. It's not until the very end of the episode where Shizo just having a conversation with Celti, and then Celti drives off, and that's about it.
It's more the way that the conversations are. They seem very casual with each other.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They only talked once. So
that body language from what I remember.
Maybe. Like I said, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying maybe, because I obviously just rewatched this episode last night, so that I could make sure that I had all the board stuff right, and so I could take notes. I find it's easier that we react to them when we react to them, and then when it's time for me to come back around to take my notes like immediately the night before or something, so that I have them at least somewhat fresh in my head.
Did we also deal with the kidnapping stuff last episode as well, or did we resolve that scene? Because I know we went back to that scene a couple times.
Not last episode. That was the
Okay.
episode before last.
Okay.
This was like a more encapsulated episode than most other ones, because we haven't gone into like the past of anything before until now. No, since we're already on the board, let's see, what did I change? Gave Shinra a green line to Shizu because for most of his life they've been hanging around each other. Obviously, I've added Shizu's brother, the actor. Shizu already had a green line to Tom because we've seen them hanging out together, but that's the last episode where we really find out that Tom does a lot of debt collecting that Shizu helps him with. What else? I know there's somebody else I connected to here. What other lines do I have? Oh, I think I may have added the black line to Simon. Sorry, watching Gurren Lagann. That's how you spell Simone. That's also how you spell Simon. No, that's not it. There's a red line here. Oh, yeah, to the newspaper reporter. I added a red line to him because the reporter guy's asking him a bunch of questions, and then it's implicitly shown that he hits him with a sign or something. He's just laid out on the ground after that.
Yep.
I think that's everything. Because it's mostly Shizu, his brother, Shinra, Silty, Izaya, and Tom. And we don't see if Tom's working for anybody or not.
Because also last episode, was it the previous one that dealt with Haruna?
Oh, God. My name recognition is not picking up anything on Haruna. Who is Haruna?
Where the girl in the top corner. Red eyes.
Oh. I want to say no. But my problem is that was either 3 episodes ago or you're right, and it was such a small segment of that episode that I'm not remembering.
Because I thought it spanned over multiple episodes.
Well, no, Haruna we've only seen once, technically. She was in the bedroom of obviously this guy has the same name, so of this guy's house, typing away on the keyboard, and it's I guess the implicit statement there is that she is the crazy person talking on the chat rooms that we see during that episode. So that's really the only time we've seen her. Sorry, I looked at her and I thought, oh, the slasher person.
Yes, yeah, no, because that's who it was, right?
Well, we haven't been told that.
I think we have.
No, we've seen the slasher.
Because they showed her with the red eyes.
Nope, we've never seen her with slasher has the red eyes. This is a spoiler. The board is a spoiler. I think I said that when I first put it up, but it's been like a month every time we see it, so it's easy to forget. So I guess maybe we've spoiled ourselves, or I've spoiled you for the fact that she may be the slasher, but we don't know that.
I think we made that connection already, because I think we saw the girl with the red eyes there.
We've seen the slasher has red eyes. I don't think she had red eyes when we see her at home.
Okay, I see why you're saying spoiler. Nah, I don't count that as spoiler, because that was something that I picked up on right away.
Because I actually, now that I'm remembering, we had a whole conversation about who it could be based on hair.
Yeah.
Where I've stated before, a bunch of these people wear hats. I know, or maybe I said that Mika has a hat. I don't remember. I said her. I do think I said her hair matches the slasher's hair. Okay. Well, other than that, I have 2 Theta's thoughts.
Hell yeah.
One's more like a list, and the other one is just a really paragraph. So, the current goings-on in Ikebukuro that I can remember. 1. We've got a slasher that hurts people badly but doesn't kill them. 2. We've got the human traffickers that are targeting foreigners and apparently lonely girls. 3. We've got a gang turf war. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I had to rotate my fingers here for the camera. 4. We've got a Doulahan searching for her head.
Yep.
5, we've got Tom going around collecting money with Shizu. And
Yes.
6, what else am I forgetting?
Don't. All right.
I'm trying to only list the active goings-ons, not the interpersonal character relationships. Say
Yeah.
like a teacher molesting a student, which is actively going on. I guess that could be number 6.
I would put it more to the lines of like the guy who's helping or getting people to kill themselves.
I'll put that with the human traffickers. That's why I said a lonely girls thing, because that was Isaiah setting that
Yeah.
up, but Isaiah is the person in charge of the human traffickers, it seems like. And, well, we also found out Isaiah has connections to the Yakuza, so that happened last episode. Um, the fact that he's part of that just kind of is an altogether thing, because we've seen those guys active twice.
Yes.
Um, the other thing I didn't add to the list, because again, it's a character relationship thing and maybe not such an activity. The fact we have Seiji here, running around with Mika in the backgrounds of scenes, who again I think has the Doulahan's head. I think Mika is the Doulahan's head, who's also being
Ah.
assisted by Nami, which is his older sister, who seems to work at like a pharmaceutical corporation, which seems
Mm-hmm.
to be like, I expect that there's a connection between Nami and Shinjin here. Shinra's dad.
Yep.
I assume that these two are going to be like working at the same corporation, or maybe he's the owner of it. So I'm assuming that that's like a bigger thing, but it's not technically a goings on. Dude wandering
Yeah.
around with his girlfriend is not a goings on. It's a thing that's happening, but it's not a. Although I guess,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, now I'm doing that thing where I can't zoom out with my scroll wheel. Um, Although maybe a goings on would be, ooh, what is her name? Bad with names. The girl that our main character helped when she was getting bullied. Oh, Henri.
Yeah.
Henri searching for Mika might be a thing as well. Because remember, she keeps going to try and find Mika, but then she sees the face and she says, "That's not my friend's face."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That hat. There's got to be some form of payoff for that.
That might be a goings on. I guess another goings on might be my supposition that Dennis and Simon are selling human bodies as sushi.
And any other show, I would say no.
They keep making a joke about our sushi isn't people,
Mm-hmm.
because they keep saying that the sushi place down the street or on the corner is, and the fact that we have this whole human trafficking, missing bodies thing going on, I just wouldn't be surprised if at some point we find out Soylent Green is people.
Yeah. As I said, if the show didn't have such a dark, natural undertone to it, I would say you're crazy to think that, but I think that's a completely viable thought.
Well, I guess it's also the element of we haven't settled on one plot line, right? Every episode's been like, here's something new, here's something new again, here's something new. Every character has a plot line. Oh, also our best friend, um, Kita here. The fact that he's got searching for girlfriends all the time, but he's got a girlfriend in the hospital that Isaiah hangs out with, or the
Yeah.
implication that that girl in the hospital was his girlfriend at some point, and that he doesn't go to visit her, but he keeps hanging out outside her window, and that Isaiah knows that he does it. It's a thing.
It's true. It's true. There again, it's the case where there's a lot of dots, and we're trying to form a constellation without knowing the name.
Well, I'm not trying to form a constellation. I'm forming a New York City subway system.
New York City subway system, not it. isn't as efficient as the one developed through fungus.
You sure you don't want to go with the root system of the oldest living creature on Earth?
I think that might be what I meant.
No, because that's like a tree, isn't it? It's a
No,
forest that
no,
they thought was like a bunch of trees, but turns out it's actually one big tree.
no. Oh, I think it was like, I think it was Japan or somewhere where the redesign of their subway was specifically done through looking at like fungal growth, and they had it plotted out based off city size.
Huh. Sorry, I was also just being thrown because apparently, normally I could type oldest living creature on Earth and it would give me that tree, but now it's telling me glass sponges are the oldest living creatures on Earth, which I've never heard before. They can live over 10,000 years old.
Yeah, no. So there was a instance where mold recreated like an interconnected network that is so well designed that it was effectively used as the Tokyo subway system.
The one I was talking about was the Great Basin bristlecone pine, which some people, apparently many scientists consider to be oldest at 5,000 years old, which is that
That's impressive.
interconnected. It looks like a forest, but it's actually one tree, and so the root system extends to the whole place. But apparently, that other search says that those sponges can live up to twice its age. So, what do you know? Learn something new every Google search.
Every Google search.
All right, the other thought that I had here. The fact that Shizu seems to act instinctively on his anger, I can't help but feel like might be a clue for something. Like we see him crush cigarettes and then stomp them out before he hits someone or hurls something at someone. But then we see him doing the same thing with stuff as a kid. Either that's a gag that's being played up for a laugh, or it's insight into the fact that he's doing things with no understanding of why he's doing them. The fact we have Shinra's dad performing experiments on supernatural creatures and Seiji wandering around with what I'm convinced is his girlfriend with a Doulahan's head on her body, assisted by his scientist sister. I wouldn't be surprised if Shizu was just some experiment and he had the mannerisms of some older person inside of him that he keeps just living out every time he gets triggered. The only counter to this thought is the fact that Shizu himself says that he was raised in a normal home. At the same time, Shinra's been around him almost his whole life, which would denote that his father may have been in the area as well. The only gap being middle school, when Shinra was apparently hanging around Isaiah.
I think the experiment angle could explain the whole story.
I think that's also a problem with it, is that I keep also coming back to maybe this is all an experiment. And it just doesn't feel like a show that's going to wrap everything up with one answer.
I think it could be multiple. I think they could all be the results of different experiments.
Oh no, I mean like experimenting isn't going to be the I don't expect experimenting to be the whole answer. I feel like this is one of those things where like we're gonna find out that Simon has something to do with like the Russian mafia and he's got this whole thing going on over here. I'm using this as an example, not something I believe is happening. He's got this whole thing going on over here, but then
Yeah,
Shinra's dad has this whole thing going on over here, and then the gang stuff has its own whole thing. That like there's gonna be like several big things going on that are all just interlocking together to form the narrative of the story. That experimentation might answer Shinzu and the Doulahan, but like the gang thing is going to be something completely different. Or I don't know. The problem is the pharmaceutical thing is obviously going to be the experiment thing in my head.
I
Isaiah
think
might be something
I
different.
I think we might be dealing with a Truman Show.
See, that might explain the gray people, which is still a question on the table. if the gray people are all actors and the people in color aren't. See now, I maybe because the standouts, right? Old guy teacher at the school. Why is he in color? Uh, the Russian tourists. See, the Russian tourists throw a wrench in a lot of shit because they're not from here. So
Mhm.
what is possibly their connection to the shit that's going on here? But then again, the Doulahan is from Ireland. She just came here. And if Shinra's dad travels, who the hell knows what he's gotten in touch with?
Mhm.
Because that could be like, oh, Shinra's dad. It's easier to call him Shinra's dad than just look his name. Shinra's dad went to Russia at one point and had contact with our parents, and it so happens we don't have no idea about any of this. We're just traveling through.
True.
Men show.
Um, I think the Russian tourists, if we're going with this Truman Show theory,
I'm
to
not, but I'm
flesh
willing to entertain your thought that it is.
to flesh it out, are the point of interest that adds in something new of, oh, we're not from around here.
I don't think it's the Truman Show. I don't think it's a Truman Show. Only, I mean, maybe if you're coming at it at a different angle. I don't think it's a Truman Show specifically on a Truman Show aspect, like where are the cameras, that sort of thing.
Oh no, so I know that we're on the same page. I think it's more of these people are in the actual city, but their interactions are all with paid people, and like it's a Truman Show situation in such a way that it's not what they're experiencing is not within their control.
So more so social experiment and less Truman Show.
Correct.
Because maybe, again, the problem of having a couple of scientist characters in here kind of implies that it could be anything.
Because then you can take it as the people who are grayed out are the people who aren't involved in the social experiment.
Off the top of my head, that seems like the best leading idea so far. But I think my problem with it lies with like, what was your last idea?
The fact that the people not involved are the ones grayed out.
No, no, your last idea, what the gray people might be before we went Truman Show.
Hell if I remember.
I remember there was something specific with that idea that I didn't like. It was based on the idea that the the theory was too nebulous, that it like anything could
Oh,
fit
oh,
into
oh,
it.
oh, oh, oh. It was the psychosis. It was a oh, it wasn't psychosis, but it was just some sort of mental thing.
That it was a dream. It was all in their heads, something like that.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, the idea of yeah, it fits everything. Like every idea we have fits into the Venn diagram, but only because the Venn diagram is so fucking huge that anything would fit into it. Like
Yeah.
World War II jets could go flying off overhead, and then we could drop a bomb, and it'd be like, yeah, that could all be a dream. Like anything could happen. The idea is so big. That's
Mhm.
my only problem. Is I feel like I want to be a little bit more narrow in the ideas. That's only me though. That's only me trying to lock down what my thoughts are.
Yeah.
All right. Those are all my thoughts. Do you have anything else you want to add before we get into
I do
this?
not. I do not.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and hop on in.
Let's do it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
it's just $5 a month. But hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I forgot how much of a bop this opening song was.
Yeah, it's the beat.
True.
Where do you think it ranks amongst the shows that we're watching? The openings.
Oh. I might put it number 1.
Yeah, even amongst all the different variations of Full Metal Alchemist openings.
Yeah. It's the song. So a lot with the various Full Metal Alchemist openings, the visuals are dope. And it kind of pulls you in. But this song combined with the color palette is phenomenal.
So yeah, the fact that they also do a recap in the middle adds to it for me. Yeah, no, I'd probably say the same. This is probably like number 1. Ironically, and you're never gonna guess what I'm about to talk about here. Macross 7 might actually be my number 2, but that's only because the opening beat is a like an 80s rock homage. Or not even a rock homage, it's literally they hired a band that did the soundtrack for the entire show, and it's all just like it feels like 80s rock to me, which is my preferred genre of music.
Got it.
I almost, last night when I was taking notes, took screenshots of the message board just to see the names of the people who were chatting to see if it mattered or not. I didn't do it. I think probably because it was 2 a.m. by the time I stopped taking notes. Someone's out there's going to point out, you only had 2 notes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see what we're getting into.
What's it? Oh, is this going to be the slasher?
Either that or Doulahan.
Oh, right. Obviously, the head. Yeah.
Let's get it. Cool head in a jar.
Well, the armor implies that this is back in Ireland.
Yep.
I do not know what that thing was.
Neither do I.
It was like a gargoyle knight.
I got more of like a swordsman / musketeer.
I was looking more at the head, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the head of the guy that you're calling a swordsman, it looked like from that 90s cartoon, The Gargoyles. Just the shape of it, though.
I can see that.
今計算したら今日は君の265日ぶりの休日だ。
Don't bring that up to a workaholic.
浮かない顔だね。
彼はこうして私の内顔の顔色を読む。人が夢を見るのは記憶の整理だと聞いたが本当か？
なんだいやぶから棒に。人がなぜ夢を見るのか？それに一言で答えるなら。
Yes, the super scientific realm of dream
医
science.
学にはまだまだ解明できていないことが多い。特にここについてはね。夢といえばレム。急速眼球運動睡眠の時に。
What does REM mean to a person with no head?
正確に言うと闇医者。でも本当のところどんな仕事をしているのかよく知らない。彼にはここに住まわせてもらっていて、私がこの仕事を続けていられるのも彼のおかげだ。
まあそもそも記憶とは何かというのも問題になるね。聞いてるかな？
感謝はしている。
No.
それ
No,
に
no.
近頃は二人でいると多分これが連母という感覚なのだと分かるようになった。だけど
あ
記憶が自分の首にあると信じているようだが、そいつはわからないぞ。
あるに決まってる。
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
ってそんなことより、まず
memory is carried in the
二人でどこかへ出かけるんだ。
synapses
僕
and
も今日は休みにするか
the
ら。
way the neurons
ほ
are
ら
laid out.
携帯の電源も切るから。
I believe they're carried in your left
電話
big
専
toe.
門のメールなんか絶対に見ない。天下安寧。
Well, I mean, I guess there's an argument to be made that it could be in your
さあ
spinal
どこへ
cord,
行こう。
considering your spinal cord handles autonomous function, and sometimes
True.
muscle memory and all that is operated by autonomous
どう
function.
して？
休みなら日頃世話になってる礼に料理を作る。
手料理。
何が食べたい？レシピを探そう。
Can you trust the cooking of a person who has no taste buds?
感激だよセルティ。
Although I guess to be fair, Beethoven was deaf and he created some brilliant music.
Yo who? Is the search engine. I like that.
ほんとごめん。
Don't want to get sued.
助かったよ。朝ちょっと寝坊しちゃって。
どんまい青少年。そろそろ東京に出てきた疲れが出てくる頃だ。
I think it's often
こういう時はハンター
like Whack-Donalds or something in anime.
隣の素敵女子と肩寄せ合って教科書見せてもらうんだよ。でなんだ？ネクタイはあえてなのか？それも？大丈夫か？財布なんかも忘れてない
You can't call it special when you've literally got a gray guy in the background with no necktie.
Mm-hmm.
うん。
うまいよ、ロシア寿司。
サイモン、ねえ、ユマッチ見なかった？
おう、カリサワ、寿司食う？それがないね。
いないか。
悪いね、今朝店長
今日、電撃文庫のアクセルワールドの発売日じゃない？
I love the fact
Oh.
that people continue talking to them.
Excel World, I love that.
そしたらお店のメイドさんが
You wouldn't know, but Excel World is the first anime that came out in the world of Sword Art Online. It's actually in the future of Sword Art Online. It's a really good anime. Also, I guess manga, I guess.
探し物？
あなたの探し物、ここに書いてください。教えて。
あなた。
But what I wanted to say before they mentioned Excel World,
皆さん、
her boss, like the leader of her group, was also wandering around last episode. Tried to talk to Shizu twice.
おかえりなさいませ。
Shizu, like, disregarded him twice.
Yep.
Him. Sorry, I was about to point with a hand I used to push talk.
カズターノが無事だっただけでいい。探るのはよしとこうって。カリサーやユマサキとは約束したのに。矢切製
Ooh.
薬。裏ではワクス会と関
Yeah,
係
where
し
the
てる。
guy's sister
北
works.
米の企業ネブラとつながっているという噂もある。
Nebula. God, Nebula sounds familiar. I think we've heard it in the show before, but I can't remember where from. Is that the brother?
Maybe.
Don't think so.
カリサーさん見なかった。
ないね。
そう。
さあ、ロシア寿司いかがですか？
That was a close call.
ああ、セルティ。普通に包丁で切ろうよ。普通に。
He's like, yo, just use a regular knife.
おいしい。おいしいよ。おいしい。
待った。なぜ泣いている？
泣いてる？いや、感激のあまり。素晴らしい。
I feel like Shinra is the kind of guy who would eat, like, poison and say it was good if she cooked it.
君の料理は斬新奇抜。
Yep.
まさに君と
You're not wrong. That's the energy I've also
それ
picked
は
up
褒
on.
め言葉じゃない。わかった。 また味付けを失敗したんだ。もういい。無理して食べるな。
何が無理なもんか。こんなに美味しいのに。ああ。
食べるなったら。
あ。あ、何するんだ。あ。どうなってんのこれ。ねえ、君には間違いなく料理の才能がある。なんだよ、スイカ細胞がないくらい。
Okay.
なんだスイカ？
味覚のこと。DNA に刻まれていない味は脳にはわからないのさ。君は食事の必要がないんだし、脳も関係ないみたいだけど。そうしょげないでくれよ。
Okay.
ゲームでもやろっか。
子供扱いするな。そういうのが一番腹が立つ。
別にそんな。
確かにお前にはいろいろと教えてもらっているが、私におぼろげに残った記憶は100年ほど前のものがある。首にはもっと。
何百年もの記憶なんて必要？
I mean, technically, as a Doulahan,
だからいつも言ってるだろ。
you shouldn't never have had a head. I mean, attached to you, so if your body has memories and your head has memories, it should have always been different.
Maybe.
私は自分の顔も忘れてしまいそうなんだぞ。
待ってくれ。僕が悪かった。
And there you go.
There's also an element of Shinra has always looked young, so it's kind of hard to tell how old he was from the moment that they started living together.
Yes.
セルティ、帰ってきてくれたんだね。
I'm guessing Isaiah?
ますよ、先
Nope.
生。休館なのに連絡が取れないんでは。
Hmm.
I feel like the real segment of the story here is that one kid that's part of their group that threw fireworks
Yeah.
at the pharmaceutical place has probably been captured, and that's the emergency thing that Shinra guy is being contacted for.
That's my guess.
I mean, they're indicating the shoes aren't here.
木田君。
よし。あ、ちょっと、木田君。
木田君、いつもと違って、
Hmm.
なんだか少し怖かったね。
The way he was strapped up, though, if those went off, those would really hurt him.
Yeah, but it felt more like he was like strapped to carry them, not strapped to like firework
Yeah.
suicide. Assuming that they were just fireworks, because that's what they looked like.
Yeah.
Not like they were homemade pipe bombs or something.
私よくなくし物をして、半べそをかけながら、ないよないよって。
Well, because if you also look at the fact that all of like his stuff is gone, it might lead to the to the more sad option.
もう平気。私このまま帰ります。ありがとう、龍神根君。一緒に。
I don't know what the sad option is because the show hasn't escalated to such a degree yet. Like,
yeah,
we've only had like the implication of death with like Isaiah's bloodstained floor. We haven't been shown any, and even the slasher doesn't kill people.
True.
まだ探してるよ、もちろん。とにかく、また。
So the moment something like that happens would be an escalation of the show, or at least like the stakes of the show.
I think having it be around the pharmaceutical company would be an appropriate moment of escalation, though.
私は何をやっているのだろう。
な、おかしいだろ。思い出せないよな。変だよな、空き地って。亡くなってみると何があったか忘れちまう。この間まであったわけだろ。なんかそれなりにでっけえやつがさ。
何をやっている
I
のだ
mean,
ろう。
not in the world, so I don't know what was there.
諦めろとシンラが言うと。
Yeah.
That was they showed it to us a bunch, and I just don't remember.
でも仕事をしたり、友達のようなものができたり、
There's a reason why they're showing these two more and more together. There's got to be some greater connection.
思い出した。ここは細長い青いビルだったんじゃ。
ああ、あのボロいのか。1階にタバコ屋のばあさんがいたな。さすがだわ、運び屋。
確かに。この町に首の気配はある。
Yeah, I explicitly don't remember a woman selling cigarettes, so I don't think it's a place we've seen before.
I agree.
Hello, こんにちは。
え、僕？
私探してます。美しい日本語。あなたの心
Yeah, I was thinking, oh, this is probably the American girl of our show. There's always an American somewhere.
それ
And then they mentioned the North American corporation Nebula. I was like, oh, obviously.
That'd be a strange book to have, but by the end of it, it would be such a variety.
今日僕いろんなものを探したんです。で、見つかったり見つからなかったりして。
カバンがなかったから仕事だとは思った。だけど何かがいつもと違う。
Yeah, called in. So I guess maybe Shinra works at the same place as what's his name's sister. Yeah, I mean if we're about to go to him. Also, didn't occur to me that the name was Gigari Pharmaceuticals. That's that name. I guess he did blow himself up.
迷惑な話ですよ。おかしな言いがかりで自分の彼女が拉致された。彼女はここ
Yeah, because to me it gave the vibes of like protest and trying to cause damage.
Well, no, I mean they just said what it was about.
目が覚めたらうちのことは何にも思い出せないようにしといていただけませんかね、先生。
そんなに都合よく記憶を消す方法なんかない。それに僕がこの子を覚えてる。
ちゃんと返しますよ。
You'll still remember them? Oh, that might have been a throwaway line, or that might have been something.
あれについても秘密を守ってくださっている。そうそう。先生はまた随分風変わり。
Also, the fact he said the director and I have faith in you. My assumption that his dad was the director, so I guess that's not true. But again, also the fact that Yagari is the name of the facility. So I guess the sister is the director, and not the person that just works there.
That makes sense to me.
Well, because she's Yagari. So it's either that or they have a father we haven't seen yet. Or a mother. Don't want to be sexist.
If it's family name, it could be uncle or some other sort of elder relation.
Right, but I'm working on the assumption of storytelling is easier done with less complication. It's people. It's people.
It's jelly donuts.
Sour cream sushi. I guess maybe. The two weird flavors that might mix well.
で、デザートはフォーチュンクッキーか。やれやれ。これはね、中におみくじが入っていて、要するに占いだ。どれ、割ってやろう。こっちが君のだ。
What do we get?
これは探し物が見つかるってことだ。ああ、そう喜ばれるとな。
Okay. That's a fun little moment.
嬉しいぞ、シンラ。お前のはどうだった？
I don't. Does it imply that he's gonna find unrequited love, or I mean, what does that mean in that
I
situation?
don't know.
こちらが悲しいとき、あちらで涙は流れるのだろうか。
Yeah. Unrequited love is a weird fortune without context.
そうでなくていい。微笑んでくれているといい。
どうしたの？また怯える。誰もいないよ。二人きりじゃないか。何か。
I gotta believe he's gonna turn out to be a lot creepier than he's been.
Mm-hmm.
何も思い出さなくったっていい。
Yeah, you can see the neck scar.
僕は君の過去も。
Oh, we've seen it in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
今の君だけでいい。今の僕らが永遠なんだ。
Could the head have been put on a body of someone who died?
Well, there we go. Confirmed it.
Yeah.
So I've been right since episode 1. Well, we're assuming that she died. Well, all we know is that that girl went missing and the other girl's been looking for her. So I guess, yeah, maybe she could have died, but I'm wondering where the original head went.
私が一つであった頃の夢を見た。
There's her on her motorbike.
ターメアンショー。アンショー。
Also, the balls on this guy who was wandering around the city with Maki's body with Celti's head on it. When
Yep.
you know that Celti is riding around the city, people have spotted her. You like just tempting fate.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's one question answered, but I mean, I think that was like the simplest of all the questions. Like, since episode 1, I've had it in my head that, oh, that's the Doulahan's head.
That at least opens up the door to simple answers might be the correct ones.
Well, I think what it does is, like when you're trying to figure out a cipher. When you're trying to figure out a cipher, and you figure out, like, the word of, you're like, okay, that's no longer an, that word is of. Those 2 letters there are going to help me figure out all the other letters. It's like, okay, we figured out that Yaji, or whatever the hell his name is, it has Celti's head on Maki's body. That he's part of a pharmaceutical... He's not part of a pharmaceutical company. His sister may be the director of the pharmaceutical company. She's actively trying to help him. He has a love interest in her, which may then associate him with Shinra's dad, or it opens up the possibility of further connections. Hold
Indeed.
私の愛は違う。求めるばかり、甘えるだけの愛とは違う。それはもっと完全なもの。次回、いい連絡。
Okay.
政治が必要としているのは私。
Yeah. It's always a weird thing when people say that. My love is a different kind of love. Although, to be fair, the last person I've heard say that was Don Quixote. So, well, he has a whole song about it. So, you know, it's a love from afar. It's a more pure love. Which is true, because he doesn't actually intend to do anything about it. So, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
liked it.
it's the cipher. It's unlocking bits of a cipher. It's just unfortunately these aren't words. Like it's not a cipher of letters. It's a cipher of bits. So it's really hard to put them together. It's like sorry, this sound weird. It's like watching scrambled porn, right? Back in the day,
You're so right.
when you could watch the channel, you don't know exactly what's going on behind the scrambling bits, but you know, if you could just figure out what one part is, you could probably figure out what the rest of it is.
Yes.
It's that kind of weird haze about it. We don't know what the full picture is, but if we can figure out one part of it, the rest of the picture might become apparent.
Yeah, no, I 100% pick up what you're saying.
Well, you know, even if you picked it up the first time, I would have explained it 3 times anyway. It's the kind of person. That's why they called me 3 times Charlie. Charlie 3 times. Get in the papers. Get in the papers. Get in the papers.
Get in the papers.
Oh, yeah, it's a good episode. Again, I'm hated by the fact that I watched last episode last night to get my notes and my thoughts in order, so I'm not too separated, although the fact that last episode was a like an encapsulated episode that didn't involve the most story.
Yeah.
Didn't really help that at all, but I was prepared.
Yeah, you know, I like that we went into the background of Salty and learned one of the pieces of information.
Bless you.
I think they brought up more questions, however, about the pharmaceutical company.
I mean, I don't think I knew the name of it before. If I did, it was 2-3 months ago that we would have seen it. So the fact that it has a dude who's going around Doulahan's head and his sister, it has their last name, or sorry, their surname on it. Like, I don't know if I picked that up before. It's that element of things, I think it's happened in Fate. Like, literally in Fate, where I was working on the board for the character connections in Fate, and realized, oh, wait a second, this dude has the same last name as his girl. He's her dad. It's like, oh, fuck, I should have realized that earlier. So if we saw the name of the pharmaceutical company before, it had Yaguri on it, and I didn't realize 2 characters on the board had Yaguri as their surnames. It's like, oh, fuck, I've done it again.
I also like that we're going through the introspection, like through individual character stuff to properly reveal information that relates to others.
Well, that's the mechanic of the mystery, I feel like, is that we're not being shown what is explicitly true. We're being shown what is true to a person, which can also invite the unreliable narrator trope in that I got told this by this person, so I believe it to be true because I believe what they say.
Yes.
And now I'm telling you in a way that the audience will find out, but that what I'm telling you and now what the audience knows implies that all other elements were true.
And I don't think it's as much as a matter of truth as a matter of perspective.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But the perspective is still an element of truth in this respect, in that somebody could be fooling somebody else on the path before the information gets to us. And it feels like, one, that would be complicated storytelling, but at the same time, it feels like this show is one that would do it to us. I think we've covered this before. There's a lot more episodes to this show than one season.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to play with its space, they got the time to do it.
How many episodes is there?
I don't remember. I want to say like 4 seasons.
So in that case, really, it's setting up for the first season to really end with more questions than answers.
I mean, it's either that or it's going to resolve everything in one season and make a new mystery. But I'm more on the boat that I would prefer it to do what you just said, to like have a big reveal, and then, although I'm thinking about it, it could pull a Eden of the East, which resolved its major plot point in the end of a first season, and then like came out with either it was a movie first or another season where they addressed the stuff behind. Eden of the East is the major plot point is a bunch of people get phones. The phones have like billions of yen attached to them, and the goal is make Japan a better place. You've got billions of yen. Whatever you say into the phone will happen. So people will like make the prime minister say poo poo on national television or something like that. And then they'll look over the TV, or they'll say, yeah, the phone will say something back as like a confirmation. And they'll look over at the TV where the prime minister is giving a national speech, and somebody will walk up to them, whisper in their ear, and they'll just say poo poo. And like, it just fucking happens. So there's a dollar cost of every fucking thing that you want to happen.
Not it.
So the major plot point to the first season is the interconnected nature of everybody who has a phone and what it means to make Japan a better place and the threat to your own life for everything that you're doing, like what happens when you run out of money. That gets ended in the first season. But the second season and the movies, it's like, who's doing this? Like, who's funding it? Or what about the other people who have bigger plans than just this sort of thing? There's a lot more to handle. Like, we could solve like the gang violence in the first season, or we could solve the pharmaceutical corporations in the first season, but it's still, what's the motivating factor behind everything? What about the relationship traumas and things like that? There's a lot of stuff we can handle in the first season and still have a lot of shit to handle later.
1,000,000%. So I could easily see. I could see the Doulahan situation being resolved, and not even like maybe it's not even a situation where the head's reunited with the original body, but where it's just found.
I feel like that's not going to happen. The reunification thing, I mean, it feels like what we're setting up is that the body and the head are going to have two different motivations.
No, so that's what I mean. I think they're going to be united, but not combined.
Oh, I mean, like, you mean, okay. You're using united in the form of brought together.
Correct.
Right, I keep thinking you mean united as head gets put back on body, which is what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. The you're afraid bit from the end of this episode is like, you're afraid of what? You're coming off as like a creepy dude. Like, I don't know if that's like you're afraid of getting away from me, or you're afraid that your body is going to find you and you're going to go back to a living condition that you didn't like. Because the beginning of the episode is you're a head in a jar, and the body is keeping you prisoner almost.
A little bit.
So there's many elements here. Like, maybe she does love this guy, and this guy has actually given her a life, and he's actually saved her somehow from a, I don't know, secret garden type existence.
So but I think that's the case, and I think they're both in that position. I think both the head and the body are living a better life than they would have been before.
Well, if that's the case, then that's the body realizing that it has a life that's better than it was before, because that's the whole implication of, I have connections now, and I have people I could call friends, I've got a job, but it's still feeling a pull to get back to its, you know what this is? This is, I'm sorry, I had the name of the movie in my head, now I can't think of it. It's one of the Lifetime movies. Sleeping with the Enemy. This is Sleeping with the Enemy. You've gotten away from your abusive husband, and you've started a whole new life for yourself, but that thing is still out there looking for you.
Correct. So I think it could very much end on the idea of the head going like, hey, I found my body, I'm going to get it back. Oh, wait. No.
Well, the opposite.
Maybe I'll just be friends with my with my head.
Yeah. Say it's the body looking for the head. The head is actively, apparently, trying to avoid the body. Even though, again, the ball's on this guy to walk around the city with the head, knowing that there's a mystical Doulahan everyone's talking about wandering the city.
Yeah, it's not that.
People take pictures of it.
in
It's
a
like
ci-
they know it's there.
In a city of that size, it's not that as big of a deal.
You're saying that as though you don't acknowledging the fact it's a mystical Doulahan, right? You're like, yeah, I know the lament configuration's out there, but Hellraiser's never gonna find. Sorry, Pinhead's never gonna find me. This is how you wind up with your flesh stripped off of your body, as a mystery for the cops to find.
It's the same. It's the same idea as it would be like the same idea of walking around when you're in witness protection.
Yeah, nothing bad's ever happened to anybody in witness protection.
But you're in New York City. Like, the population kind of covers your ass on a certain level.
Except in this case that the mob is made up of a lot of mystical people with powers beyond your rational understanding.
It's true.
I'm just saying, hiding in plain sight, or not hiding in plain sight, hiding amongst the masses, I don't really think applies when, again, you're right next to the target of unknowable legend. It's just weird.
Agree with that.
Any final thoughts here before we wrap up?
No.
All right. Well, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Justin. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?